Hi, and welcome to a self-published author's diary. I am Elodie, your host for this podcast. I have been self-publishing for the past 12 years, and I share my ups and downs and everything in between in my self-publishing career. Today's episode is going to be about a TikTok experiment that I started a couple of weeks ago. But before that, I wanted to thank you, first of all, because I double-checked my stats and I have 2 new followers. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button or the follow button or whatever button it is. I am very, very grateful. And if you're loving the episodes, don't hesitate to share this one or any other one with a friend, rate and review. I really, truly appreciate it. I am planning on interviewing or having a chat with the chemical engineer. We don't have a date yet. We have talked on the podcast together once, I think. But right now, I want to ask him questions about if I were to write a chemical engineer, what would I need to know? Not that question exactly. I will have a few. So I know he's listening right now and he doesn't want the questions ahead of time. So I will not share my questions ahead of time. But if you do have questions yourselves about writing somebody in the chemical engineering field and you would like to know something, now is the time to send me, if you have one, to send me questions. Again, I'm not doing it right away, so you have a little bit of time to send me questions. And the email again is elodie@elodienow.com. I will put this email into my episode description, and I'm going to wish that the bots or whoever sends me those 10,000 emails per day about the latest one was Colin Hoover apparently wants to talk to me. I am very much looking forward to your questions and to interviewing the chemical engineer, or to have a chat with him more than interviewing him. We have chats all the time, but this one will be recorded. Another quick update before I go into the actual TikTok experiment is I don't want to leave you on a cliffhanger with last week's episode with the taxes and Barnes & Noble, so I just want to give you a quick update on that. If you've listened to last week's episode, I was talking about, among other things, about taxes and Barnes & Noble and a bunch of other stuff. But so when it comes to the VAT in Belgium, I did get an answer from someone, and they sent me 3 documents and 11 pages of answer in the body of the email about approximately. So I'm still figuring that one out because they had not seen the contract. They basically sent me a guidance on what to look for. Everything is in Flemish. I am trying to figure it out, which I will. And when it comes to Barnes & Noble, I am waiting on an answer. I did put a message in the White for the Win website. If you're a White author, I really recommend it. I will put the link in the episode description. And several other authors responded. And so I'm also still trying to figure that one out. I actually need to send a reminder to Barnes & Noble because I still haven't heard anything back. Since today's is a numbers episode, I thought I'd share my current pre-order numbers before digging into my TikTok experiment. Both for you and for me, because it helps me to actually figure out and take notes and do the data that I need to have. So if I'm looking at the 5 books I have for pre-orders, my Christmas wish list is currently 99 cents, and I have a total of 61 pre-orders, the majority of which is on Amazon, followed by Apple. Amazon has 40, Apple has 9, Google Play has 6, Barnes & Noble has 5, and Kobo has 1. And then the French translation of that, which is My Liste de Noël, which is listed at €5.99, has only 1 so far on Amazon, but I have not updated the link in the back matter in the previous book in the series, so I need to do that. Cancer is Not My Brand, which is, I think, $4.99 on all platforms, currently has 0 pre-orders. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to update also the back matter in Nice Guys, which, I don't know, because Nice Guys is a rom-com, Cancer is Not My Brand is nonfiction. Maybe I will put it in the author's note instead of just in the back matter, because I already have an author's note in there. A New Year's Eve Like No Other, which is the third in the Nick and M series, which is up for sale for $2.99, currently has 4 pre-orders total, and they're all on Amazon. I also have not updated the link in the back matter for that particular series, so I have not announced it in the book itself that there is a third. And then the French translation, which is Un réveillon pas comme les autres, which is for €2.99, has 34 pre-orders on Amazon and 1 on Kobo. Again, I have not updated the back matter for that one either. I did work on the covers. I think I mentioned that last week. So all of those books have a cover, except Cancer is Not My Brand. I am working with Camber Designs in Media for that one. And I think we're going to be working on the cover in July. Those are the pre-orders I have so far on June 18th, 2026. And I think I'll do an update either every week or every 2 weeks at the beginning of the podcast, just to share and for me to be able to actually do the data, because if I'm sharing it, I'm much more likely to work on it. So now for the TikTok experiment. So you might be wondering, Elodie, why are you doing a TikTok experiment in 2026? A few years ago, when TikTok started blowing up and BookTok started really blowing up, I did not join right away, but in 2022, 2023, I was much more active on TikTok, and I had a few videos that went viral for me with about 17,000 views, with hundreds of saves, like 500 of saves, 900 likes, and it did help my pre-orders. And I also gained newsletter subscribers. I had another episode, which I will link, which is how I gained, I think it was 84, or I can't remember how many, but I gained a certain amount of newsletter subscribers from TikTok. I used it a lot for my advanced review copies. I used it for pre-orders to gain new readers, and I cross-posted on Instagram. And in 2023, it worked pretty well until it did not. I had a lot of views, then I think I took a break, and when I came back, 30, 40 views maybe per video. Not a lot of saves, not a lot. It was not pushed in a lot of different ways. And in terms of sales, it did have an impact, but it also didn't have like a huge impact. But also, I no longer have access to Facebook ads, so I cannot do any Facebook ads. Not that I was doing Facebook ads for my Elodie Now books, but that's not even an option for me right now. So I don't have the possibility to do Facebook ads. Last year, I attended a virtual conference, the BekaCon, which was about author businesses. And during that particular I will link to some of the author businesses material that Becca has on her Patreon. Part of that conference also had homework about experiments you could run, because one of the things that she talks a lot about, and also some of the things that I've been trying to do, is to apply what I'm learning instead of just learning, which I do love learning. I need to apply some of the things that I'm learning to see if they work for me, if they don't work for me. And when it comes to TikTok, I wanted to do that last year, but then we moved, everything happened. It's just I didn't have the time or the bandwidth to do the TikTok experiment. But now I decided that would be a good time to do it, because what I do enjoy about TikTok, or what I did enjoy about TikTok sometimes, was to share what I was working on to see if it was resonating. So I was trying to hit the dopamine of readers, which is basically what it is. It sounds pretty bad when I'm saying like that, or at least it sounds pretty bad to my ears when I'm saying it like that. But it was really to see what resonated. If people or if readers shared it, got excited, commented, liked it, then I thought, okay, I'm going in the right direction. I am writing something that works. And it helped me also refine some of my lines that I was writing, because for TikTok, I had to make them snappier and, I don't want to say better, but catchier for sure. I figured, okay, I'm going to try and I'm going to see what happens. I'm currently located in Belgium. I do have a VPN that I'm not using for that particular experiment, because when I tried, the app totally did weird stuff. I don't know if it was a coincidence or not, but so I didn't. I do still have also my American SIM in my phone. So technically it's still linked to my American phone, and I could use the VPN. But I am in Belgium and I have not done anything. The experiment started on June 8th. So about 10 days ago, I started on a Monday, June 8th. And the first time I posted on June 8th was at about 7 p.m. Belgium time. I posted about my Christmas wish list. I did a photo slides with 2 pictures. Took me about 10 minutes to create, and I put the excerpt as a picture. It was actually a screenshot from a Word document. The views after 1 hour were about 300. The views after 12 hours were about 800. After 24 hours, 957. And then it kind of stayed that way because after 1 week, it was 963. In terms of likes, it only reached 8 likes after 3 days. So I think it was looking for its audience. And it had about, after 3 days, 6 saves. There was only my comment on it. Nobody else commented. And I checked on those days, especially at the beginning, because now I do need to check again. But how long did I stay on the app on that very first day? I stayed 27 minutes on the app between 4 p.m. and I think 8 p.m. on that day. But what was worse was that I opened the app 19 times. This was bad. 19 times I opened the app between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. And I'm talking about that because I think the experiment, right, is not only about what does it bring me, but also what does it cost me? And not only in terms of time, but also in terms of focus, in terms of what else I'm doing. Because if I'm checking my app 19 times, that means I'm taking my phone 19 times and I'm opening it up, which to me seemed like a lot in a few hours. But on that day, I did revise 2 chapters and I spent about 2 hours revising. I had written in the morning, so I didn't do that in the morning. I did that during the evening. I had a link tree at the time on my profile and I did not get any click on it. And that's going to be a recurring theme, you'll see, because that's the one thing, that's a metric that I'm really looking at, are both the pre-orders and also, because that's the one I'm mostly pushing, is my Christmas wish list, and also how many people go now onto my website, because I created a special page for TikTok on my website, which reminds me, I actually need to stop the top of to make it less distracting, because when I did it previously, I had a TikTok page on my Elodie Novodatsky page, and then I hid the heading of my website so that when people clicked, it looked like a link tree. And I haven't done that yet. I did not hide the heading on my website, which can get distracting. People could click on different things. But the next day I posted, because I was 900, that sounds great. When I came from 3550 at the beginning, back in 2024, I think, before that. Then Sweets for Love, or 2025. Sweets for Love was what I posted about on June 9th. I reused an old video. It took me only a few seconds to create. The excerpts were quotes. It was a flip page. It's like a flip book video. And I ended up with 317 views after an hour. And then I reached about 947 pretty quickly. And then just added a couple. I had 21 likes. So it felt like this video went better in terms of targeting people who actually do like steamy rom-coms. And then I had 7 saves after an hour. Nobody commented on the video. They were just mine. On that day, which I posted at about 6:45 a.m. So I changed it around to figure it out a little bit what would be better in terms of timing. And I stayed 19 minutes on the app, and I checked 17 times throughout the day, plus 3 times on the computer. So 20 times. Again, way too much. I did add my website. That's when I did the change from Linktree to my website. And I got a notification from TikTok that my video was outperforming other videos from similar account, which great, but did not result in any saves, any links. Then for a couple of days, I did the same thing. I did photo slides, reused same old video, then another photo slide. I tried different timing, and my video views tanked. I did not post on June 10th. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But June 11th to June 12th, and the reason I didn't post on June 10th, I was in the ER and I got that doctor note saying I could give that note to my employer about me not working on that day. And so I gave it to myself and I did not work. To be fair, I was also very tired. And so I didn't post. And then the next day when I posted at 7 a.m., 60 views. After 24 hours, 63. Not a lot of likes, no comments, no saves, just sadness. June 11th, Sweets for Love, same thing. June 12th, basically for a couple of days, I stayed around 30 to 50 views, which was not great. And then I decided on hiding some videos. On June 14th, I ended up hiding the past video that did not perform. And I checked what worked in my category. So I scrolled a little bit more on TikTok and figured out, okay, what was working. And at the time, it seems to be a background video with a text in front of it. Somebody walking, a sky, whatever, just a background video with a screenshot, I think, of the e-reader. That's the way I did it. I went onto my Kindle app on my phone and then I sent myself my draft and I took a screenshot of the excerpt I was going to use. And then in the photo app of my phone, I have a Samsung, I highlighted the dialogue in blue that he's saying and the dialogue in pink that she's saying. And then I plastered that onto a video that I had recorded back in Cape Cod about 4 years ago, that was still in my draft. And I posted that. I posted that around 7:30 p.m. on June 15th. It took me 5 minutes to create it. It was really, really quick. And after an hour, I had 88 views, but I did have 10 likes and already 4 saves. And I thought, okay, that the ratio is pretty good. After 12 hours, I had 878 views and 47 likes and 18 saves. And then after now 3 days, 2,031 views. So that's how much I got. After 24 hours, it was 1,780. And then I have 90 likes and I have 41 saves. I had one person liking my comment. I was like, great. I found what works. Didn't take me that much time. Wonderful. The next day, I posted around the same time and I posted a different background video, but it was the same excerpt. And this one, after 24 hours, stayed at 94 views. So you compare 1,780 to 94. The likes after that amount of time of 24 hours, 10 likes, compare 86 to 10. 1 save compared 41 to 1. So not great. And yesterday, I totally forgot about posting. I did that right before going to bed. I reused the video, reused that Sweets for Love video, and I have 38 views after 12 hours. So what I'm thinking about doing again is hiding the past 2 videos and actually changing the excerpt that I'm using so that I use a different excerpt and then posting the background video and then the excerpt in front of it. And looking at where the people are who have seen or watched my most popular video to date. So that's the one that ended up with more than 2,000 views. As I said, I'm posting from Belgium. And when I look at the locations, 42.2% of the people who watched that video were in the UK. 9.6% were in Germany, 5.3% were in the Netherlands, 3.8% in Ireland, and then 3.6% in Belgium. And then it continues with lower percentages with France, Italy, Portugal, different countries. When it comes to the ages of the people who watch my video, 29% were 18 to 24 years old, 31% 25 to 34 years old, 24% 35 to 44 years old, and 11% 45 to 54 years old. So those are the main ages that look at my video, and they were mostly female based on the app. That one has been viewed for a total of 8 hours and 14 minutes of playtime. Okay, this is what is wild to me. I think that video is 20 seconds, and that means like people may have rewatched, I have no idea, but it's 8 hours and 14 minutes of playtime. So in terms of reach, that's That's another reason why I'm sometimes wondering, even if I don't get the results I want to get. And that's why I don't know if I'm going to continue or not after 30 days. But like, even if it's just 35 to 50 people who have seen my videos and watched it until the end, if it takes me only 5 minutes to do it, I don't spend that much time on the app, and it's 35 to 50 people. If those 35 to 50 people, only 10% of them, let's say, actually check my books and start with a free book, that's still pretty good. Or am I making too much of it? But it's because like sometimes I forget, or I try to look at numbers as people instead of just numbers. And it's like 30 to 55 people to 90 people actually watch the video, and if half of them watch the entire video, that's still pretty, that's maybe they are going to know my name. Maybe they are going to look up my books. I don't know. These are things that I'm thinking about. What has been going on though in terms of clicks, I had 2 people who clicked on my profile link. And I'm also just thinking now that it still says in my profile that my most eligible Scrooge is out now, but that's not the one I want people to actually go. It's my Christmas wish list. I need to update that. But only 2 people. So out of all those saves and all those likes, only 2 people so far went onto the link in my profile. And then none of them clicked from that page that I link to, which has all my books, which again, I need to update so it looks more like a link tree. What I had done is I had put all the different links from the different vendors because I want to see where people are actually clicking. But I think I'm gonna have to rework that to make it so it's just one click, but then it's another click afterwards. And you lose people. The more click they have to do, the less likely they might be to actually purchase something. That's what I'm gonna have to figure out, is how to update that page to see how it works and see what I do for the rest of the experiment. So far, it hasn't resulted in any new pre-orders. It also seems that it hasn't resulted on any new books being bought. To be fair, if people are on Kobo, the Kobo dashboard right now has a message saying that it's not working, right? So maybe there will be, but I'm looking at my sales, and my Elodie Now sales are nothing. Like Sweets for Love has not been bought this month. None of those things. Most Eligible Scrooge got bought, and Dear Santa with Love got bought. But those ones are usually bought because the first one in that particular series is free. So that's usually what's going on. What I do still enjoy about it is sharing my work in progress or moments that I find funny in my books. And when I went to bed, so when I did it last night, I totally forgot. So I didn't really go on TikTok during the day. I maybe checked twice on the computer. I did have 6 open of the apps yesterday, but knowing that I also posted and did it twice, I opened TikTok 4 times during the day, which is already quite a lot. But it's also not too bad compared to the 1920 that it was at the beginning of the experiment. And I don't know what I'm going to do after. So I've ran so far this experiment for 10 days. I still have 20 days to go. So this is the beginning of it. So I think in next episode, once I do in the next numbers episode, I think I will do a review of either the entire experiment or the next step in the experiment, because in 2 weeks there will not be 20 days yet. And then maybe I'll have a better idea of what I want to do next when it comes to TikTok. But right now I still have 20 days to go in this experiment. Maybe me sharing is going to be helpful for you. I mean, some people definitely find success on TikTok. I did in the past, not to the extent of others, but it did help me. I just thought I would share with you what I'm trying in terms of marketing when I'm not currently spending any money on ads, and I'm not also spending any money on, for example, BookBubs or free booksies or paid newsletters at the moment. Right now, I'm not spending any money on those different fronts. And so I thought I would share that. It reminded me a little bit of Leslie Penelope. If you do not listen to her podcast, I highly recommend it. It's My Imaginary Friends. In her podcast episode that's called The Fire That Forges You, because she shared her process for writing her short story. And she really documented a lot of it with the planning, the research, the structural decisions. And she had the short story project, that's how she called it. And writer Nicole Summer, who is also a teacher, told her that that approach is actually a legitimate teaching style where students see someone working in real time. Maybe I'm just not showing my process to show my process, even though it does help me process, if I say process one more time. But maybe it also helps you, and it shows a little bit of the behind the scenes too. Because while I do love and listen and read everything that everybody writes and shares pretty much on how they found their success or whatever their definition of success is, and the tips and tricks, and I try to emulate some of those as well. I mean, I did go onto TikTok and double check what was working right now, and I'm doing that because this is what has worked for other people, and I'm trying to see and replicate to a certain extent the formula for myself. I also think maybe sometimes it's nice to show the struggles behind all of that and the choices that I make, because, for example, again, after the 30 days, I may stop the TikTok experiment when somebody else might continue and then find success with it. Again, whatever success means for them, or for you for that matter. But at the same time, it's interesting, I feel, to show that certain things work and we don't know why, and certain things do not work and we also don't know why, and what impact it has on both my creativity, my time, me being present in the moment. Like me looking at the amount of times I opened an app was pretty much eye-opening. That actually spurred me into putting my phone on our bathroom sink, which is not, like, I would have to get up to get my phone right now. And I'm doing that during the evening, right before going to bed. So as I brush my teeth, I set it down there. And then I do not have it during the night. And when it rings in the morning, my alarm rings, then I get up and I go get it. But I do not go back to bed with it. It's been good. It's been good for me to actually, I finished the book by Jamie Albright called The Summer That Changed Us. And it was heartbreaking, and it was heartwarming and more heartbreaking. And it was a book that I am grateful to have read. It's the book that I've mentioned a few times, that she says it's still Magnolias meets Schitt's Creek with the heart of This Is Us. Told with sharp humor, messy love, and the kind of honesty that sneaks up and wrecks you. She's right about that. The Summer That Changed Us is a deeply moving, laugh through the tears story about sisters, second chances, and what it really means to show up when it matters most. And it's because one of the sister has cancer and has been told that she has a few weeks to live. I wanted to keep reading. And so by putting my phone away, I actually read more. I feel like I'm less also maybe tempted to look at my phone during the day. That's another experiment, but I don't have any data for that one. I mean, I could look at the amount of time I'm opening, but I don't have any real data. I didn't look at anything really specific for that particular one. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening. If you've been using TikTok and it has been working for you, I would love to hear about it. If it hasn't been working for you, also tell me about it if you want to. You can either commiserate or you can share some of your data. You can send me an email. Thank you again so much for listening. If you have a moment, don't hesitate to rate and review. It would make this self-published author's day. All right, well, to all writers out there, happy writing, and to everyone, happy reading. Talk soon.